Hello, wonderful people, Connor Whitmore here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel, and today I'm going to be doing a live review of the new compilation from Interval Audio, 5th Interval. Here we go, latest Superstats compilation from the legends over at Interval Audio, and yeah, been a short while since I covered anything from them, as you'll all know, both without God Season 9 and the recent Neo subculture. I wasn't quite able to do, couldn't quite fit them in, had quite a few things going on when each of those compilations came out, but very happy to be revisiting my interval coverage with this compilation series right here. And yeah, 25 tracks, 25 tunes, hearing them all for the first time right here, right now, providing comment along the way, and a fair few household interval names on show right here in this compilation. But yeah, let's go. Starting with Ninda and Bass Plasma Heresy VIP Edit. Bit creepy. Oh! 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 Fuck! Ninda in full flow. Must admit, not massively aware of Bass Plasma, so not entirely sure what Bass Plasma's kind of style is like, but for me this is Ninda in full flow. Eerie introduction, very well done, very well crafted. And the heaviness there, very full on, production's good, percussion backs up the idea, solid. Holy fuckballs, man. Heavy. Not easy to do that style well and effectively. A lot of people are going for it and can't quite pull it off, but for me, Ninda does just have to be one of, if not the best at the moment when it comes to that style. I mean, would you call it tear out? What would you call it? It feels like a bit of a tear out metal step kind of blend, but I mean, the range of sounds we got there, also evil and demonic and menacing, just had a very full on, large, big room kind of vibe. And again, just done very well, and not often that style is done well. Maybe could have been a bit longer, maybe could have been drawn out just a little bit, been a bit more extensive, but that being said, I do also appreciate the quite short and snappy nature of it, and you know, beyond the kind of Ninda goodness that we're getting here, does make me want to check out Bass Plasma, because yeah, ultimately it is a collaboration, so we'll be peeping that discography very soon. The introduction, very good, very well crafted, creating that kind of eeriness at the beginning, and yeah, just properly full on, and the overall sound really complementing that, with the percussion just fully backing up that idea, giving it a proper thwack. And yeah, I mean, if you're trying to do that style, just look to that as a kind of exhibition, as a good example of how to do it, I would say. Very well done as a combination of elements, considering what they were going for here. So yeah, an enthralling and emphatic opener. Fucking good. Oh, I did also love those kind of drawn out, screechy kind of things. Can't really go forward here without mentioning that. So yeah, there was a lot of moments here, quite a few moments where it just kind of catches you off guard and keeps it unpredictable, just with those drawn out kind of screechy sounds, and also just little bits of percussion or just growls kind of winding up. Very cool and very well done. Next up, we have Nemesis by Vex You. Another very well crafted introduction, has to be said. Just the way it's put together. Oh! Oh! Fuck. another track, I think, for just having a fantastic range of sounds. Got those that are a bit more jabby, a bit more swipey, and those that are a bit more gurgly, a bit more belchy coming from underneath. Yeah, mad range of sounds here. Very, very good on that front, and the pacing of it, top notch. I mean, if you enjoy neuro-y kind of stuff, if you enjoy D&B, if you enjoy them together, then, you know, all the better. But even if you enjoy either kind of individually, there's going to be a lot to get out of that tune. The mix of sounds, again, here, very, very good. Kind of referenced that earlier with what I said. You got the swipey, jabby stuff. You got the more gurgly stuff, the stuff kind of winding up. Just an amazing vortex of sound here that we're kind of experiencing with that tune. And it's very well cut, I think, as an arrangement of sounds. I think the production's good. The definition of everything here is on point. And also the introduction was, again, a very well assembled sequence. And when it came back in for the midsection, albeit in a kind of different way with the vocal chopping kind of at the forefront, I think that was very good, very effectively done. So yeah, just looking at another very well assembled and crafted number here overall, where I can't really find fault with it, if I'm being honest. Like, just ticking boxes here, if I'm being honest, and really pulling through for what it's going for. You know, the ideas aren't special, I'm not saying that, but for what it is going for, I think really allowing these sounds and the production to shine through, which is what it's meant for. So yeah, another fucking good number. Following that, we have Morbid by Stag. Oh! Enjoying the bounce of that quite a bit. It's quite inventive, quite fun, liking that. Loving it in parts, and then other parts feeling like it could have done maybe something a little bit different. Like, I'm never quite going to be for the kick outlay when it comes to this kind of music, but the idea is sick. I like the idea and the range of sounds we get here again as well. Stuff like that is just fantastic for giving it that bit more of a thrilling feel. Very good. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm enjoying the idea. It just, the execution for me isn't quite there. But, you know, having this kind of style unleashed in a bouncy way, stuff like that. Quite an inventive take there, I think, on that style. Just giving it a bit of a bouncy outlay and presentation, which I think was cool. Yeah, for me, the execution, not 100% there. Just, I think, could have been fleshed out a little bit more. Maybe done with a bit of layering, a bit more layering here and there in the heavier moments, just to give it that bit more body, that bit more of an impression. Because, yeah, for me, whilst I did enjoy the idea, and again, the sounds here, the samples that we got firing out, giving it that kind of cavernous, echoey feel, which was fantastic, but I didn't quite fully feel like I could move along with it because the, I don't know, the backdrop just didn't have quite that completely bodied feel. The other sections were good as well, just kind of adding to the whole creepiness and the spooky vibe of it overall. yeah, that'll be my thoughts on that one. Then we have Obsidian Empire Mask Remix. Okay. Is this a build? Or is this like the bulk? Is this like the main part of the first half of the tune? Oh, winding up, winding up. What is going on in this tune? This just feels a bit clunky to me. Can't quite get into it. Yeah, just the execution all around just feeling a bit clunky, I would say. Very interesting cut. Kind of began with that heavenly opening first few seconds, and then it went into that house beat, and I was like, wow, okay, this build is really preparing us for something huge. But then it just kind of kept going on and on and on to the point where it kind of constituted as the main bulk of the first half. It just went on for too long, and then the heaviness that it went into for me was just a bit clunky and a bit odd. Yeah, the elements not quite fitting together, if I'm being honest, and the way they were executed as a whole kind of section not quite working for me. Then it went into this kind of sparkly midway point that we got following that, which was very nice, you know, if a little bit odd as a directional change. It was I think it was welcomed at that point, but then again just went back into the clunky, odd sounding kind of heaviness, which I couldn't quite get into, if I'm being honest. So I think it is unique in just what's being brought together here, but yeah, the ideas themselves are being conjoined. Yeah, I'm not really vibing with myself personally, having heard it once. So yeah, that would be my thoughts on that one. Skinwalker, VIP edit from JG Dubs. Oi! 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 Becoming quite muddled here with this mix of synths going on, just a bit convoluted, like a bit too much going on there. Like initially there was enough gaps between each sound, but that's a bit clunky for me. Oi! Yeah, it's these bits for me that just get, the sounds are kind of overlapping and not quite having their own space, if you get me. So yeah, pretty standard rhythmy tune, not bad. I think, you know, more so than usual from that genre. The production is hitting hard, got a nice beefy kind of feel to it. I'm enjoying that about it. Otherwise, you know, if that wasn't quite there, then I wouldn't be enjoying this tune at all. Just wouldn't be getting anything out of it, if I'm being honest, because, you know, the idea is quite straightforward. You know, did get me moving, but that was in thanks to the production, I think. You know, just has, again, a very beefy, bodied feel to it, you know, quite large, quite fat. Because the idea here is just, yeah, quite straightforward, quite simple. There were a few moments as well here that were just a bit clunky and a bit muddled, a bit convoluted. as I said, with those synths kind of falling over each other and yeah, just getting in each other's way. Basically, it just made for a bit of a more of a sticky situation, basically, and not quite as clear with what it was going for. But yeah, not much else to report on with that one beyond that. Then we have Zenith and Blacklist with Sneaker Meetup.
Sneaker meetup, who we about to finesse? Alright, this is what we got cooking today.
Oi! Ooh! Damn, what a banger so far. Loving that. The bounce of it, the production, the sounds involved, the little funky bits woven in as well. Very coherent and cohesive with what's being brought together here, and being done very well. Loving it. Oh! Man, can't lie, I do often think about Decembra and the gap that he's kind of left, having not been around for quite a while. And Zenith is filling that gap pretty well. And in combination here with... Wait, what? Oh... I've just realised that they're shuffled. Which, you know, if it was an album or an EP from one artist, I might be like, fuck, I've got to start again. But seeing as it's a compilation, obviously they are put in order, a specific order by Troy, of course, and I don't want to disrespect that. But then at the same time, I don't really want to start again. So, yeah, I hope you guys will respect the fact that I can't just start this over again. Quite a few tracks in here. But yeah, just oh god, that is annoying. But yeah, I just can't start again. I can't do it. So yeah, I hope that you guys will be okay with that. But yeah, back to the Zenith and Blacklist. Like, yeah, I mean, for me, there's just a massive gap in the bass market for doing that kind of neuro-y, twisted, upbeat, kind of housey, almost mumblecore kind of stuff, or kind of just style altogether, and they do it very well there, in my opinion. I think could have maybe done with a bit more melody or something dropped in various points here and there, which we do get, to be fair, in the kind of funk elements we get. It's quite detached, I would say, from the heavier stuff, so almost like another tune altogether. But you know, that stuff is cool, just could have done with maybe a bit more melody to make it a bit more engaging, give it a bit more character. But the heavier stuff is fantastic, and you know, loads of fantastic sounds in there, really good mesh there that we are getting from these two. And the funky stuff is very good as well. I just kind of got to the end of it wanting a bit more, if I'm being honest, you know, just for the track to be embellished that little bit more, but would never be against a VIP of some sort if you're going to do that going forward. But yeah, that is another good track here. Then we have Different VIP edit from Taneki. Definitely one of the nicer and more engaging wave tracks so far here from Taneki. Melodically, it's got that kind of melancholy woven into it, which is lovely. Just makes you want to hear it again, that emotional reach that it's got. The vocal is good as well, and everything's just kind of coming together here in, again, a very effective way. Yeah, definitely one of the better wave tracks I've ever heard, if I'm being honest. Yeah, for sure. Just got everything that, well, all the elements that wave music kind of goes for. Having that distant feel, that airy, dreamy kind of outlay. And it's all reached because of that mix again of vocal, good production, and the melody overall just all coming together here to make a very coherent number. And some of the layering here is beautiful. It's got a very blissful feel to it. And one of those where, yeah, again, just not really putting many feet wrong, if any. So often with that music, the backdrop or the production overall just feels so flat, and the melody just doesn't go anywhere at all, if I'm being honest. So for me, that is mostly what wave music has kind of represented, if you will, and stuck out as when it comes, well, as a style of music. But this one is kind of bucking the trend and doing all the necessary stuff in a very good way. So yeah, props to Teneki for that one. Then we have Glacked, Economical Remix.
Dumb music for dumb people.
Ooh. Not bad so far. Got just about enough kind of unpredictable, spontaneous moments in there for me to feel like I'm gonna want to hear it quite a few times more after this one. But I think the main idea is, yeah, just not really stuff that I haven't heard before, if I'm being honest.
Fucking dumb music for dumb people, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think for me, for the most part, not loads there that I haven't heard before with that style, but it did keep it, I think, very entertaining and quite spontaneous, unpredictable as it went on. Just little moments here and there that are kind of dropped in between each mini drop idea within the main drops that we get, which, yeah, just kept it fun, kept it quite bubbly and enjoyable on the whole. I did also enjoy just how each drop just kind of mutated and evolved as it went on into its progression. That was good. But yeah, beyond that, I mean, the main ideas we're getting here, it's just, you know, quite overly loud, quite abrasive, and it's just, for the most part, I think, you know, ideas that I've heard before, and not bringing that much new with that style, if I'm being honest. So yeah, of course, some good moments in there, little sounds and cheeky moments that are, you know, keeping you on your feet as a listener and guessing what's going to happen next. But yeah, the main ideas, it's just quite standard, quite samey for that style, just from what I heard. But yeah, Aimless with On My Mind.
Shit on my mind.
Oh yeah. Oi. Oh. Oh. Very pleasant, very feel good, and just outright joyous, I would say. Just reminding me of summery vibes and good feeling.
I need to free my mind.
Okay. Yep. Yep. The rhythm here, the flow, exceptional. Oof. Some of the sounds just creeping in, firing off. Very, very good. Gets the right mix between being uplifting, very bubbly, sprightly, if you will, and then also quite heavy, quite, yeah, just full-on, bit grungy in the outlay overall. Yeah, not much else to say if I'm being honest on that one. Just very outright enjoyable and feel good, uplifting, bubbly, all of that, and then mixing that with some fantastic kind of vocal sample usage, other sounds kind of interjecting out of nowhere, which was very cleverly done, and other sounds as well that were just providing a very warm and glowing backdrop, and also quite heavenly at the beginning and the ending as well, in the introduction, outro, whatever, midway point as well. It just had a, yeah, quite a scaled up, reaching to the heavens kind of vibe, which was very well done, and all within this quite you know, narrowed off and closed off kind of structure, and how long each section was, but that very much worked for it as just a very, yeah, compact, confined number. Yeah, got a lot going for it. Not perfect, I wouldn't say, a couple production points here and there, but for what it's going for, the overall vibe, the sounds being brought together, yeah, very effectively done. Yeah, again, one of my picks here so far. Scorpion by Decay. Oi! Oi! Oh! 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 By this point, I think with that style, it's getting increasingly harder to kind of make it interesting and make it fresh, but Decay is definitely doing that here. Very enthralling ideas here being brought together. And yeah, it's exciting stuff. Yeah. Oh! 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 Should have saw that coming. I should have saw that coming from the first drop. Those drawn out elephant kind of sounds are just very good for, yeah, keeping you guessing. Fuck me, I'm tired after hearing that one. Very heroic feeling with that outro for sure. What a huge gargantuan beast of a tune, and again just going to return to that thing of it's very hard by this point to refashion, recycle those ideas that we've got from that style, that kind of hard-hitting scattergun kind of tear-out delivery, and that was done extremely well, I think, by Decay there. You know, again, not a thing of it being perfect, there are little holes I could pick with it, but I kind of don't want to, because for me it's so impressive what Decay has done there in unleashing that style in a very fresh way as a combination of ideas and sounds. And of course we got the introduction, which was very well done, and the outro, which had, again, a very heroic feel to it. Kind of reminded me, actually, of that scene from the final Lord of the Rings film when they're all on those massive elephants and Legolas is fucking shooting the bow and arrow and all of that. Yeah, just kind of, it felt like that battle was going on when I heard that tune, which is a big compliment, I would say, just as a kind of mirroring of different art styles we're getting there. But yeah, that was full on, it was big, and it was inventive and creative and just off the wall and ambitious with what it was going for. Yeah, good stuff. Ghost in the Shell by Automatic.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So he uses touchful reality and lives in a world of illusion.
It's just a bit too slow for me. I think it needs a bit more energy going on. quicker BPM, few more gaps being filled for me anyway, because it's just a bit too drawn out and it's just dragging a little bit.
Lives in a world of illusion.
Yeah, I mean, the Minotaur-y kind of vibe is just one that has always been a bit full on for me. Everything I said basically. I mean, there were a few moments in there that did keep you guessing a little bit. You know, just sounds that were kind of tripled and repeated, which was, I think, done very well. And yeah, that kind of kept me guessing just a little bit. It was quite alarming for the idea overall. Just picked it up a bit, and the vocal sample was fantastic as well. Just quite eerie. Very creepy the way that was executed, but for me the heaviness, yeah, just a bit too drawn out, a few too many gaps available, and yeah, just dragging, I think, quite a lot, and not quite having the energy or kind of oomph, I suppose, beneath it that made me feel like I could properly get into it. Yeah, just had a bit too much of a drawn out feel, not enough urgency for me, enough anyway for me to feel again like I could properly move along with it and kind of get into it, find it something that I could go back to. But yeah, that would be my thoughts on that one. Kwambi 643 by NAWTY. Quite a lot going on there. Did feel a little bit clunky again as a combination of elements and sounds. There were a few in there that were very good. Kind of zips and zaps here and there. This is... stuff like this I'm just a bit puzzled and confused by. That does have to be another one of just feeling a bit clunky to me and not being quite sure how all these different ideas and sections kind of fit together. I mean, some good sounds in there, again, little bits of interjecting, synth usage here and there, which was very clever, I think very well done. But fundamentally, just as a mix of ideas here, them all being brought together, I'm not quite sure, yeah, how you could expect someone to kind of get into it when it's just moving so quickly from one thing to another at such a rapid rate, and it never really stops or lets up on that front. So there's no, well, there is a breathing point, I think, midway through, but then quite quickly we just got that kind of abrasive moment that just kind of came out of nowhere. And so, yeah, to me, that does kind of epitomise the fact that in this tune we don't ever quite get a specific section or thing that we can, you know, get used to and really hang on to and become familiar with. Yeah, some decent concepts and sounds in here, but yeah, just feeling a bit convoluted, a bit muddled when it comes to bringing them all together. Yeah. Then we have Dissidents by Angel Cannon. I feel a bit of wave coming on again. I can feel it. I can feel the wave coming on. Oh my. Oh. The production, man. You don't get that often in this genre. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that is what wave needs. Can you hear how clean that sound is? Can you hear how engaging that melody is? The vocal chopping as well, like... so far, so beautiful, you know? Like, wow. It's got everything that you want in wave music, for me anyway. The production is so sharp, clean, defined, vocal chopping, melancholy in the melody, like, and the rave-like appeal of it as well, which is common for this style of music, is just so on point. How radiant that sound is, fucking hell! That breakdown, oh my god, beautiful, fucking hell. That is how wave music should be done. Everything about it, everything that style goes for is achieved in that tune. You got your melody, you got your, you know, your production being very on point, very, you know, at the surface and just kind of HD. If you get me, you know, so much of this music just sounds far too distant to the point where you can't, well, where the percussion just becomes completely irrelevant, like superfluous. It's not even needed. And here, it's just giving the whole sound that definition, that crisp, you know, outlay and just execution, which accentuates the ideas so much better and just elevates everything about it. And then the vocal chopping as well, the kind of, the drops that we get here, how dreamy they are, how ethereal everything is, how blissful it is. Like, I mean, the second main drop for me was a bit of a curveball throw, something that I'm gonna have to get used to, just that pounding, you know, incessant kind of beat, which was fine, but yeah, just gonna have to get used to it in the context of the tune. But the way it broke down again was just, you know, chef's kiss kind of moment. So, yeah, that track has so much going for it, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. One of my picks here so far. Then we have Exhale by Obsidian. Is it another one? Another wave cut. There we go. Again. This one, I think for me, still as emotionally engaging with the melody it's going for here, melodically overall, but yeah, doesn't quite have that crisp execution for me that really, again, just like the one before, would accentuate everything here and just make it so much more defined, clean. Yeah, that's just a personal preference though. You know what, to be fair, hearing the second drop does give it a bit more of an echoey feel, which I think is good. I think that's what the track is going for, and I think it works for it. Yeah, that one just a little bit less going on, I think, ideas-wise, the progression of it, and the percussion as well, I would say, just not quite as crisp. But I think that was good. I think it did work for it in giving it that distant, echoey, spacey, smoky almost kind of vibe, I would say. That is what a lot of wave music goes for, and I think that track did it well, especially with the melody pulling through and making it quite engaging on that front. There was just a nice warmth to the track overall, you know, there was some good layering going on here, giving it quite a big room kind of approach and appeal, and yeah, just making it quite, well, making it feel quite all-encompassing and like it was giving you a big hug. If you know, yeah, just quite warm and soothing overall. But yeah, different kind of approach with that genre, and working not quite as well for me, but in a different way, yeah, I suppose just about as well. Yeah. Then we have Deep Space by Medulla.
And me not love. So they be never talking. We don't take hold of. We there for money. You never see me walk off. Everybody there from the walls don't want money. Oh, the bumper was smelly aroma.
Quite a woozy feel to this one, you know, quite hazy, you know, just feeling a bit almost hypnotic. It's some of these sounds, man. It's very interesting. Can't quite tell yet if I really like it or I'm just a bit indifferent, quite blurry in a way. And that's in contrast with, you know, these gurgly sounds, the percussion being quite snappy, that kind of piercing vocal sample as well. It's a weird mix and I'm not quite sure what to do with it. Not much else to say beyond that. Some fantastic elements in there. Those gurgly, swampy kind of sounds, the vocal sample. Just the way that the introduction and mid-section were constructed, I think was very good, very well cut. And the heaviness is the thing that I'm not 100% sure on, because I do enjoy the kind of combination of sounds we're getting here. But the wooziness and the haziness of it just gives it a bit of a dreary feel, which I'm not quite getting into yet. But the amount of good stuff that we are getting throughout the tune and which is being brought together is going to make me want to hear it again, just to check that I'm not, you know, fully sending on those drops, on those heavier moments, because yeah, a lot of good to get out of this one overall. Just going to have to get into that kind of distant, woozy, blurry feel with the heaviness. But yeah, the good stuff will keep me coming back to it, I'm sure of that. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. Then we have Glocks and Saunter with Malware. That's been used in the Marauder song, intro of one of his tunes, I'm pretty sure. This one's just feeling a little bit rough around the edges to me. The transition kind of kicked it off into the heaviness, and then from there, I don't know, yeah, the idea, the range of sounds that we're getting here just... Again, the transition. Straightforward for what it's going for, and you know, if you are going to do that and keep it quite simple with the ideas, you got to have a lot of layering, a lot going on, a lot of background touches, just to make it, you know, impressive beyond the idea that you've got. And yeah, not quite delivering on that front, just having a bit of a rough around the edges feel to it, and the transitioning from, you know, one section to another at specific points was not quite working for me. Yeah, that one not quite pulling through. Moving on, we have Introspect by AK. Another wavy kind of number here, okay. Again, like, it's got the warmth, it's got the warm, comforting, soothing feel to it, which is good. But beyond that, pretty unremarkable, if I'm being honest. I think, you know, melodically, it's fine, it's okay. There's just not much to report here, if I'm being honest. Not in a necessarily bad way, like, it's a vibe, it's something to have on, but not necessarily something that's, you know, pushing boundaries with the genre or overly impressing. It's just kind of there, you know what I mean? Not playing it safe, I wouldn't go that far. I think the arrangement here is very good, and the overall sound does have that good atmospheric feel to it again, but by this point you gotta kind of stick out when it comes to that music, because a lot of it just kind of runs a risk of sounding a bit too samey and similar, and that's kind of what we get there for me. I feel like I've heard that tune quite a few times. But yeah, that'll be my thoughts on that one. Following on from there, we have Vertigo by Willix. Now that is fat. Oi! Fucking hell. Damn. What an introduction. One of my favourites so far. Wave again. Up. It's a shame for me so far, this one, because the introduction, the potential that came with that, you know, just so grungy, all enveloping, just really did seize your attention, grab it properly, with how earthy and grungy it was, but that heaviness, I don't know. You know, the fact for me that I can't quite tell if it's a snare that's really like buried and muffled or a kick is like, it just sounds rough to me. Just me. That's just me. Oh, just the one drop, the extensive introduction and outro. Yeah, for me, a pretty clear example of a good mix of good and not quite so good. The introduction, one of my favourites on the compilation so far. Again, loving the grungy, all-enveloping, kind of deathly, horrific feel to it. Really got you in the mood, just was on point. Everything it did was good. The outro as well, the way it switched the track up and wound it down simultaneously with that, yeah, very scaled up, kind of glacial, heavenly vibe. I think that was lovely, very ethereal once again. But then the middle part, the one drop we got here was just, it felt muddled, it felt muddy, sorry, and it just felt a bit swamped out, just not quite clear enough with the sound and the idea it was going for. Had potential with that concept, but did for me just need to be a bit cleaner. Couldn't tell at all if it was a snare that we were getting after each main kick or not. So yeah, that section aside, a very good tune here for me, and has a lot of potential. Maybe could be redone in a kind of VIP format, but yeah, that drop in the middle, that middle section is bringing it down for me personally, having heard it once. So yeah. Then we have Ringneck. Who am I to you? Oh, damn. That might be one of those tunes where it's quite important where it's placed in the track list. Let's just have a look. So, is it at the end? No, it's not at the end. Where is it? Not at the end. It could have been just an outro for the compilation kind of thing, but yeah, just 50 seconds of Western style, deep, immersive, plucked strings, basically. Yeah, I am going to check in a bit just where that comes in the compilation, because that would be quite interesting, just what it's in between and what it comes after and before. But yeah, 50 seconds of what I just described right there, just to provide a bit of atmosphere for the compilation. Yeah. Then we have Dreams by Ecto. Oh! Yep. Okay. It is a nice tune so far. It is nice. I'm feeling nice listening to it. The sounds are nice. The music is nice. Nice. Oi. Yup. like this progression as well because, like, you'd think it might just take it up another level with the kind of colourful, flavoursome aspect, but I like how it roots it in a bit of heaviness, a bit of grungy feeling. Super enjoyable. That one, I just loved the vibe of it. The range of sounds used, the colour of them, the flavour that we were getting, just very radiant vibes we are getting here with that cut. And yeah, just feel good. I enjoyed listening to it. I'm not going to pretend it was perfect, you know. For me, the production, the percussion just could have been a bit snappier, a bit sharper, just to fully back up those ideas. But yeah, I think beyond that, the concepts we're getting here, the transition as well from each main drop into its own progression and how that kind of rooted it, took it back down to earth, gave it a bit more of a gnarly feel. I think that was fantastic as a kind of, yeah, transition progression for each drop to take. That was good. And beyond that, the other sections just complementing the track overall well, supporting the heaviness. And what else we got? For me, a top example of not doing too much and the ideas it has, whilst being quite simple, are quite effective. So yeah, it got repetitive, but that repetition was very good. That kind of call and response thing that we've got going on here was executed pretty much to perfection, beyond, you know, a couple of production issues for me here and there. But yeah, mostly very good, and one of my picks so far again. Moving on from there, we have the Ballad of Site Zero. Anti-King remix. Oh my! That has got to be up there with the sharpest snares I've ever heard in my life. Oh damn, 20 seconds to go. Would have preferred it to be a bit longer. I really enjoyed that concept, that idea overall. That was really good, just how kind of, yeah, just gravelly it was and how grainy it was. I enjoyed it, do just wish it was longer. The other sections were good as well, gave it that added atmosphere. Yeah, I really did just want it to be longer, more extensive. I want to hear that drop again, maybe refashioned in a different way, a couple extra sounds, like a different pace to it. I would personally love if you could maybe refashion that and just, I don't know, lengthen it out just a bit more, because I think it deserves it. I think it'd be worth it, because that was a good idea. It took my attention in many ways, conceptually and production-wise. So, yeah. Short, but sweet. Moving on from there, we have Fluster by Outlaw. Oh, fucking straight into it. Here we go. Is that into build? Oh yeah, okay. Build things, yeah. Oh! Fucking hell. The mix of sounds here is so dizzying that I'm kind of, in a way, struggling to keep up with it. I can't lie. Oh! Okay. Damn, the fake outs are killing me, fam. Fuck. Oh, these bits are sick. Yeah, that was decent. I mean, quite a lot going on. Quite a lot to process, I think. And that might be my main kind of drawback or, you know, point of improvement. is that there were points where there was just a bit too much going on and it didn't quite feel decisive enough with its direction and which ideas it was going for, because there was just so much going on. It's like, you know, you were sticking with one for a couple of seconds, then in came another idea and another idea. It was a lot to kind of, yeah, again, process and kind of deal with as the listener. Well, that's just me anyway. It could be different for others. But yeah, for me anyway, there was just quite a lot going on, quite a lot to kind of just grapple with as the person listening to it. But the range of sounds we got here, I think it's one of the best for me on the compilation in terms of the amount of sounds we've got going on and how they're being brought together. There were points as well in the heaviness where the sound just sounded a bit muffled, a bit muddy, and could have done with just a bit of sharpening overall just to make for a cleaner sound, which he has done before. Outlaw has done very well before. I think the wildness of it, the wackiness of it, just how off the wall it was, is appealing. But yeah, you know, the other side of that is kind of thinking, well, could have just maybe stuck with particular ideas just for a little bit longer and not had quite so much going on. But yeah, that's going to be my thoughts on that one. Walk the Talk, Majestic remix. Going for that overblown, saturated. Oh. Okay, half a minute to go. Another pretty short number here. Not much to say. Again, the production just has quite a oversaturated kind of vibe to it. Yeah, just quite jarring for me anyway on the ear. But beyond that, it's just a trap beat, a hip hop kind of flavour, a vocal woven in, and over quite quickly. So, I mean, yeah. And ultimately, we have This Sucks by DeLion. Fucking hell. Yeah, this one for me so far anyway is just another pretty clear example of, you know, hearing a specific kind of music, not getting that much new out of DeLion's style and the style overall with this cut. Not much newness to glean from it, for me anyway. That's in the Tramper song, innit? That sample. That one, fine for what it is, fine for what it's going for, but wouldn't go quite beyond that. Yeah, not really pulling up any trees there conceptually, and quite a bit of the production as well. I mean, again, it's just a preference thing, but I desired, I suppose, a bit of a sharper backdrop for the idea that DeLion was going for there, but then again, you know, that is kind of his style, having it be just again, a little bit muffled, a bit muddy, and not quite that refined and sharp. And, you know, that's what he's going for. That was a definite choice. So you just kind of have to trust that that is what he wanted to do with that tune. That is what he wanted to do. But yeah, aside from that, I think there was some good force to it. In parts, you know, not perfect, as I was just kind of addressing there with the backdrop and whatnot. And the range of sounds was good, if a little bit samey for what we've got from that style before. It was just a pretty typical and, you know, standard tune of that kind, if I'm being honest. You know, again, not really doing anything new, not much to glean from the genre or DeLion's aesthetic, having heard that cut. So, yeah, overall, it's just fine, I would say. Yeah. And finally, with this little shuffle that I've done of the compilation, we have Cold Sweet by Star Splitter. Okay, the final one. Here we go.
Yes, I tell you, yes, it's a man. A man. And he's been turned inside out.
Ooh! Ooh! Ooh, yeah.
Oh, Doc, wait, where are you going?
Oi! Damn! And this one is just plunging me right in its world. Super dark, eerie. And now I've shuffled it, I know that I shuffled the compilation by mistake, but this is a good ending, like... Damn, this one, for what it's going for, is done extremely well.
Look, I tell you. It's a deeper dark than dark.
Just love. I am loving the atmosphere here. So evil, so menacing, lurking beneath, fervent, fuzzing, just creeping up behind you like fucking hell. Oh. I really enjoyed that. Super dark, eerie. The vocal samples were super weirding me out, and that's what I loved about it. You know, it made me feel uncomfortable and unsettled and a bit nervous, and I just think for what it was going for, it had pretty much every element, and working together here and cohering in, I suppose harmony isn't quite the word you might use for a tune that dark and without that much overt melody going on, but yeah, I think there was just quite a clear harmony between all the different elements we got there. The darkness of each drop when it comes in, just that hit of really warm, deep, evil, menacing sound is so good, and the way that each drop kind of carries on and is drawn out and lengthened, I think works for it really well. Feels like a scene from a horror film, and that is basically what you want for music that is going for that kind of thing. For my own little shuffle that I did here, I think it was a fantastic ending, and again, that is going to have to be one of my picks on the compilation so far, having heard it once through. That one from Star Splitter. Cold Sweat. Yeah. Okay, so you might be sitting there wondering, why has Connor got different clothes on? Well, basically, I was filming this yesterday and I just ran out of time, basically. I had to go out, had to do something important, and yeah, just ran out of time for doing a little roundup right here at the end. And I don't want to keep you too long. I'm very aware this video has been, or is very long already, but yeah, just want to do a quick little outro right here because you can't not when it comes to these kind of compilations. But I suppose what I've kind of realised is that, you know, the more I've done these live reviews of these compilations or just covered them in whatever way, you can't really just give wholesale overview points, if you know what I mean. Like, ultimately, we're talking about, you know, 20 plus tunes being brought together here from completely different artists doing completely different things, and yeah, it's just weird, or just doesn't quite feel right grouping them together and giving overall viewpoints and stuff like that. So basically, what I'm just going to say is, yeah, another very good interval compilation, and for me, one of the best they've put out in the last year or couple of years or so. Yeah, one of their best for a while, in my opinion. And a great selection, I think, on this compilation of very good tunes. And yeah, on that note, my favourites come from Ninda and Bass Plasma, Decay, Ecto, Aimless, Zenith and Blacklist, Vex You, Star Splitter, Angel Cannon, and Teneki. And yeah, that is quite a few right there. So don't think I've ever had it where I've had quite so many from one compilation as like my outright favourites, if you get me. But yeah, there's just so much fucking good stuff here. Really good quality on this compilation. You know, don't get me wrong, a couple here that do maybe drag it down a bit and aren't quite as good, and you know, constitute as the compilation just maybe being a little bit bloated, just maybe a few too many tracks that maybe a few could a bit superfluous and didn't really need to be here. But I think for the most part, I'm kind of hearing the compilation, and there's just so much quality just laced within it, and quite a few as well that aren't quite at that, you know, first bracket kind of level for me, but which are just below. So yeah, a good compilation and a long review right here. So I'm going to finish it off and round it off right here. Thank you all very much again for bearing with the shuffle. Could have been quite annoying not having them in the right order. But then again, probably in a way made it more fun, just not knowing which one was going to come next. But it was an honest mistake. And again, if it did piss you off, apologies for that. But yeah, again, an honest mistake. And that is how I got through this new compilation from Interval Audio, 5th Interval. There we go, my live review, my instant reaction, my thoughts. Yeah. But now I want to pass it off to you guys. What are you guys making of 5th Interval overall? Is it indeed, like I said, one of the best compilations in recent times from Interval? And also, which tracks of the 25 are your picks and why? Drop it all, your thoughts, your opinions, your comments in the comment section down below. Beyond that, keep it naughty. If it's naughty, then you know, and I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace.